name is Ian Dybel. I'm a professional guitar teacher, which is handy because today I'm going to teach you the guitar via an advanced arpeggio exercise.
Yay!
That was written to coincide with the backing track that I put online about a week ago. That backing track is in A minor. It's kind of a mellow jazzy chord sequence, and it's actually really good to solo to, using A natural minor, A pentatonic minor. Even A blues sounds great against it. Not a lot of people will know that because I'm still quite a new channel and my videos get buried quite quickly, which is very sad. However, this arpeggio exercise is going to be really good for you.
Yay!
And there's so much more than just the arpeggios involved. Don't worry if the exercise as a whole looks a little bit complicated for you. I'll be showing you throughout how to break it down into small manageable chunks that each provide a self-contained exercise great for technique, that's fun to play, and also provides knowledge for soloing and composition, etc. The first 4 bars of the chord sequence looks something like this. Let's take a look at that first bar. That first arpeggio I'm playing is an A minor 7 arpeggio. I would normally play an A minor 7 arpeggio like this. In this instance I'm going to stretch back to the 3rd fret instead of playing the 8th fret on the 6th string. I'm going to be playing the 3rd fret on the 5th string for the 2nd note, and that creates a stretch which is going to kind of create a linear motion. It's going to propel my hand along the neck to meet that F major 7 arpeggio, which is the 2nd arpeggio. Looks something like this. You don't have to worry about everything I'm saying. Essentially it's going to create a nice exercise movement along the neck, and you can practice that individually on its own. An interesting thing about using an A minor 7 arpeggio like this in this fashion is that it's very similar to just a pentatonic minor scale. An A minor 7 arpeggio is practically a pentatonic minor scale anyway. I think if you add the 11 to it you get a pentatonic minor scale. This is a minor 7 arpeggio. The 4th of a major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th note, this 4th, is also an 11. If you add that to it, you get pentatonic minor scale that everybody loves. It's an interesting fact for you. Another thing though is that this way of playing the A minor 7 arpeggio is like this path that is so useful for soloing. You see this arpeggio? So in itself what I'm saying is just this arpeggio, even on its own, it's just number 1, it's bar 1, it's the first half of bar 1, and it's actually a really useful exercise. It's just kind of seeing that. While on the subject of how important that A minor 7 arpeggio is, why not make up your own little exercises to get it under your fingers? I just did this in about 3 minutes. I'll play it to you in a minute just as an example, little ditty funky thing. That I've just changed the rhythm. I'm just playing it ascending and descending, and I've changed the rhythm at the end a little bit, and I get something that I can practice that is also musical. Take a listen to this. So for that I just gave myself a bit of a funky sound and I played along with a drum loop and it made it musical. There should always be some form of musicality when you're practicing. You don't want to waste time by just practicing religiously scales and arpeggios, boringly ascending and descending, ascending and descending. That might be the case when you're first just learning the patterns, but after that there should always be some musicality involved, creating rhythms, using dynamics, etc. It's something else that you're learning while you're practicing those things. Let's now quickly move on to the 2nd arpeggio of the first bar. The 2nd arpeggio in the first bar is an F major 7. It's based on the root 5 chord position. So the F major 7 chord would look like this at the 8th fret. We're following that basic pattern, but we're putting in the major 3rd here that isn't included in the chord when you play it because you can't play 2 notes on the same string. And we're adding the octave F at the 10th fret on the 3rd string. And then that means you've got this awkward layover with the little finger to the 10th fret on the B string before another slightly awkward stretch. So that's going to take a little bit of work. The arpeggio itself would normally finish on the F, but in this exercise it finishes on the E. So you end up with a first bar that sounds like this. We have made it to the second bar, and don't think that I do not appreciate you still being here. There is actually a lot of information that can be gleaned from one long exercise like this, so I hope you're starting to appreciate that. This second bar is composed of two arpeggios. It's a descending C major 7 arpeggio and an ascending G dominant 7 arpeggio. Major 7 arpeggios, the major 7 arpeggio sounds like this, ascending and descending. And it's great for solo, and it sounds beautiful in a major scale solo or in any solo. I often use it for raking into a part. The whole arpeggio can be raked. So we're using that descending part in this exercise. And the dominant 7 arpeggio, which looks like that as a full arpeggio. Dominant 7s are very useful for blues, etc. I'm just going to show you that rest of that bar with the tablature. So we've got bars 1 and 2. You'll be pleased to know that bar 3 is just a repeat of bar 1. Bar 4 is more or less a repeat of bar 2, well, except that there's no descending C major 7, it's just a G dominant 7 ascending and descending. Then the whole thing repeats and nothing changes until bar 8. So we'll take a look at bar 8, but in the meantime this is those first 8 bars. Provides a nice little finger exercise on its own, so you could loop that like I did before and make a little ditty, maybe something like this. So we're up to the last 4 bars, which is kind of like the chorus of the backing track, and that sounds like this. So that sequence starts with the F major 7 arpeggio again, built on the root 5 chord position, which looks like this. You'll know it and love it by now. Then that comes into a E minor 7 descending, which is built on the root 5 minor 7 shape, which looks like this. And then that comes back to the D minor 7 and ascends the minor 7 arpeggio. So that kind of makes sense for you to make a loop out of that descending and ascending minor 7. That'll look and sound like this. So that's a nice loop to practice, because it is just a minor 7 arpeggio from the root 5 position, and it's going to be useful in other situations. It's not just about learning this arpeggio exercise, and it's good to break down this arpeggio exercise anyway, because then you can jigsaw them together. It makes nice little easy contained units to practice, but they're all useful in their own right. I could have funked that loop up a bit. I could have given it a little backing track and made the guitar sound a bit funkier, but I'm saving that for these next 2 beats, which is the D minor 7 ascending and the A minor 9 descending. Let's do something like that. That sounds great, and you could loop that and you could use it as a self-contained backing track. Maybe. By the way, if you'd like the backing track for any of these mini exercises, or the mini exercises themselves as a backing track, as I just used, let me know in the comments below. I could always upload them as a separate video. That brings us to the last two bars of the exercise, which start with an F major 7 ascending again from that root 5 position, and then you find these next two beats quite interesting because there's a descending E minor 7, but the second octave of the descending, the lower octave, has a sharpened fifth. So in that higher octave you've got this B note, and in the lower octave you've got this B sharp note. I nearly said C note. It's not actually a C note because the fifth is a B. That's the perfect fifth. You're sharpening it so it becomes a B sharp. Just a point to note. They are enharmonically equivalent. They sound exactly the same, but it's a B sharp note. So anyway, it goes, and that nicely actually goes into an ascending B minor 7 flat 5. So you've got the E minor 7 with the sharp 5 in the second octave to an ascending B minor 7 flat 5. That makes a great loop to practice. That's a great little loop to practice. I could have easily funked that one up and made it into its own little mini exercise like some of the others. I didn't do that because I'll probably do something separate with sharp 5 and flat 5 chords and arpeggios in another video, because they're very useful and some people don't even know they exist. Just a technique point, in that B minor 7 flat 5, also known as a half diminished arpeggio, that ascending arpeggio, there's that awkward little finger layover. Again, little finger layover is always a little bit awkward, so you're going to want to slow that down to practice. So that brings us to the very last two beats of the exercise. That's an ascending F major 7 into an ascending G9. Let's see if we can loop that. And these little loops that we've been creating are not just for soloing over, and they're not just for learning this larger exercise. They're all self-contained practice resources. You could practice your scales across the top, you could practice the arpeggios across the top, you can make up exercises, something along the line. So that's it. You've got everything at your disposal to play the arpeggio exercise as it was originally presented to you, and so much more, because any one exercise can contain an almost infinite number of sub-exercises that you can make fun, and it is about making learning fun. If you're going to a teacher or you're watching teachers that are just getting you to meticulously play up and down arpeggios, parrot fashion and in rigid timings, that's some lazy teaching really, because learning should be fun. And I know I don't know the standard that you are at, because I do not know who you are. Please let me know in the comments, because it does help. But I hope that you've gleaned the fact that you can make so much more than is originally presented to you at face value. We've just made a quick exercise up, or it's just improvising an exercise across an exercise, exercises within exercises. And do you know what? It's all music, which is the point. Thank you so much for making it this far to the end of the video, unless you skipped to this part of the video, of course, in which case you've missed all the great bit, all the funny bits, the aardvarks falling out of trees, they were good, etc. But if you have made your way through the video and you've enjoyed the aardvarks, etc., or you've got anything out of the video at all, you've learned anything, please comment, please let me know. If you can thumbs up, that's really good, and if you can subscribe, obviously you'll get notified of future videos, which I hope will get better and better. I know that I've got skills and knowledge to be able to teach because I've been doing that for 40 years, but I also know I've got a lot to learn about producing YouTube videos. Any comments that you put down below will be read. I've not got many subscribers, I've not earned a penny out of YouTube to date, and I'll pay attention, so any kind of feedback will be appreciated. There should be a link maybe up there or somewhere to the backing track. Please try that. There's lots of things you can do to it. There'll be example solos and things coming if they're not already up. Thank you, and I hope to see you in a future video.